But our next guy, Chandavian Bradley, also fits that description of somebody who is very, very raw, but has a ton of talent. He's currently listed as the number 9 edge rusher per 247 Sports from Platte County, Missouri, Platte County High School. 6'4.5", 220 pounds is his size. Currently committed to Tennessee, which is Matt's former program. But the one thing, guys, he might be on the lighter side. He might only be 220 pounds. He certainly looks like it on film. The guy has some crazy speed, some deep threat wide receiver type speed that he's able to chase down players, get after the football. I think out of any of these guys, it shouldn't be a hot take that he's the fastest amongst the group. But Ryan, we've done this on the NFL Draft Show before. You've done a really good job of projecting some athletic traits for these players. How fast linearly would you say that Bradley might be if we had to guess a 40 time right now?
I don't have any verified times in front of me, but I'd say he's probably a 4.5 something type of athlete, right? Like he can go, man. I mean, Joe, this is my type too, right? We've done the show so long now that this is the outside track guy that I always fall for. I mean, he is a guy that is going to pin his ears back, win up the outside track, up the arc, and be able to bend with good flexion in his lower half and be able to run. And that's something that he does incredibly well. And Tennessee, Matt, currently has a couple really talented defensive ends. Not only him, Caleb Herring is also another one that is committed to the 2023 class as well. But I would argue that maybe outside of Keon Keeley, that Chandavian Bradley might have the highest upside of any defensive end that I've seen in 2023, man. Like just some silly traits. I mean, you even mentioned it, Joe. Also a really good basketball player, like a good enough basketball player where he could play a high-level basketball on the Division I level. So this kid's upside is just tremendous, a flat-out incredible, just incredible mix of speed, athleticism, length. He has it all from an athleticism profile.
Yeah, he was really fun to watch. He was a great film watch. And these are all his claims, so I'm not saying that I'm a predictor of times and all that, but yeah, 40-inch vert, 4.4, 840, according to him. Maybe it's a 4.5. Doesn't matter. You're flying, right? Especially at his size. The impressive thing, too, that I mentioned to you before the show, right? The show before the show, again, is the 57-second 400-meter. I mean, that is rolling. Like, that is an impressive number right there. And to go along with, too, like you said, the playing basketball. What? Playing basketball. So just a natural athlete. One of the coolest things that I saw about him too was the quick twitch, but the ability to change direction, right? To put his foot in the ground and to go in an opposite direction, to me was super impressive. Multi-directional speed is something that, I don't think people look at enough. And when you see it at that defensive end position, especially there was 2 or 3 plays where he's making plays at the goal line, the line of scrimmage, where you see him just striking across the blocker's face so quickly that he's in the backfield before the quarterback's even handed the football off to the running back. And those are just traits and things and explosion at the line of scrimmage that you just don't see a lot. You see it, but when you see it to that degree, it's super special. And to think where he can be once he just gets a little bit more weight in his legs, and can add that power aspect to it, that's where you're like, man, this dude can be really, really scary. And the same thing for Keon. He could be one of those guys, you can line him up in that obvious passing situation as the wide 9 and just be like, listen, the tackle isn't going to get out there fast enough to protect this quarterback because he's just going to run around you. Has the flexibility to bend if he does, like you mentioned, Ryan. And then the other aspect too is he could be a really good outside linebacker in a 3-4 situation where occasionally in zone blitzes, he is dropping into space with his length and athleticism and getting interceptions and batting footballs and just playing, big in zone space. So that's where I think the upside, for Bradley is just tremendous and is really exciting. And, Tennessee, I don't know what they're doing, but man, they evaluate talent extremely well because every Tennessee player that we've mentioned in this show so far, I feel like has been really, really good. And I'm not saying that because I went to Tennessee. All right. So don't give me that crap. Okay. All right. I don't want to hear that. All right. But man, whatever they're doing, it's working because they're finding some ballers out there.
Yeah, I totally agree on him maybe playing a little bit of outside linebacker. I think he fits that physical profile well to play that position. Just last thought on Bradley. He's only 220, so he's not as fully developed when it comes to his strength and the power that he's going to have. But heck, he's somebody you should be worried about if he gets up to 240, 250, maybe even bigger than that. He's going to have some really nice power to go along with this speed. And it's just something to monitor. If he gets up to that weight, he's going to be a really, really potentially unstoppable force for that Volunteers defense. So keep an eye out for that.